wide format is with the kit or Canon, so it's more engineering, architectural, some poster
Gotcha.
design from that. But as far as like outdoor card wraps, anything like that, we have very minimal experience with that.
Okay, so the first thing to understand, which has really nothing to do with Mutoh, it's just kind of basic things to know. In the world of a sign shop or a print shop that's getting into using these machines, these are a 3-year outdoor. If you laminate it, you make it into a 5-year outdoor. Okay, so any kind of like vehicle wrap or any kind of graphics like that. The first thing to know is the difference between cast and calendared. Okay, this is really big for a sign shop. Okay, 2 different products. So in a inkjet, like what you have here, you have a wide variety. You have wrap material that is basically, it's a PVC plastic with adhesive on the back of it, is what it is, and you just have different grades of it. So anything from A-frames to banners to vehicle wraps to, you can do posters, you can do heat transfers onto shirts. I mean, there's just all kinds of different things. You can make all kinds of plaques for hospitals, schools, all kinds of different businesses with this type of equipment. But to know, the first thing is cast and calendar. So cast is anything that is high temperature. Okay, so there's 2 different groupings of vinyl in this world. You have cast and calendar. Cast is, like I said, it's high temperature change. So if they're applying a graphic and they're asking you, and they're saying, well, we're gonna make this, we're gonna put the sign out on the front of our building, and the wind comes whipping through and it's super cold or it's super hot in the summer, then I'm using a cast product. If it was, I'm doing a quick sign, an A-frame, or I'd say about 80% of all signage made in a sign shop, it's calendar. So cast just means it's poured. When they go to manufacture it, it's like pouring out batter, okay? When you pour out batter, it just flows through all the nooks and crannies. That's what cast does. Calendared is like dough, it's rolled. So when they go to make it, they roll it out, they cut it, and it's formed like that in large rolls. There's a huge difference in price, okay? So in cast, a 50-yard roll, 50 by 50 yards of cast is $540 about, okay? All right, calendared for 54 by 50 yards is maybe $150. Okay, it's a huge difference. But as a distributor, you need to know this because you don't want to be selling your customer all cast. The only time you're going to sell cast to somebody is if they're doing vehicle wrap or high temperature change, like I said. Anything other than that, it's always calendared. And they could be talking about, oh, well, we need some high performance material. Right away, the first thing you're saying is, well, it's a cast or calendar. Then they're going to know that you know a little bit, you know enough about the industry that, hey, I'm trying to dial you into the right product to do your job and not just give you anything out there. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. And calendar comes in hundreds of colors, and so does cast comes in, I'd say there's probably 100 colors in all with cast, where with calendar there's 300 colors. I mean, everybody makes it. Okay, very inexpensive.
So is that a difference in the printer that we're selecting, or
No.
a difference in just the material we're
In the
selecting?
material. Mm-hmm. Yep. So whatever material you decide to add to sell with your inkjets, you want to make sure there's a cast line and a calendar line. That's a big thing. You don't want to just be like, oh, all we sell is cast. You're going to have very little sales, and it's just super expensive. You're going to move so much more calendar than you will cast. But you need to know the difference, because whichever vendor you get it from is, wants you to sell all cast and not calendar. That's why you just have to know the difference in the product. Okay. Just to touch on Mutoh for a second. Mutoh's been around for about 70 years. We have a warehouse in California. We also have one in Arizona. That's where we went, our training center. Everything is made in Japan, so we have great quality in our products. Everything is brought into our Arizona location, our California location, and they go out to our dealers. We have what is called a Start Right launch kit. Do you know what that is? They talk about that with you?
No, I saw it on in the dealer portal, but I didn't.
Okay. So a start rate launch kit, what that is it can be added to anytime you order a unit for your customer. It's basically a tutorial on how to use the equipment. So it has samples in the box, it has videos in the box, and it has like a step-by-step to teach them the software as well as how to use the machine. So if you get somebody who you did 1 day training with them, they're like, well, you know, I need more training or whatever, you can use a launch kit for that. A lot of people really like it. It's a big thing for us. It doesn't cost anything, you just have to put it on the PO. If it's not on the purchase order, it doesn't get ordered. It's not like it's an automatic that comes with every single one, because some dealers are all about training and like to do all kinds of different training things, and some of them like to go a little bit lighter depending on the customer, because somebody might already have a Roland printer, and now they're getting into a Mutoh and they just want like a quick refresher course. A start rate kit does that. Okay, so it's
Is
just
that model specific?
it is. It is. Yep. And it has different. So for every level that they achieve, there's like another set of samples that they have to make. So it's just a great way to provide a little bit more training, a little more in depth. Really getting to know what you purchase instead of just hey, this is your inkjet, this is how it runs, here's one job going through it, and then that's it, type of thing. So,
is Roland the biggest competitor?
No. So for competitors, I have Roland, Mamaki, Epson, and HP. Okay. Mamaki's probably the closest. I used to work for Mamaki for a while, so anytime you come against anybody else, I've dealt with it in one time or another, so I could tell you all the flaws and
Can you spell Mamaki?
Yeah, sure. Mamaki, Mimaki.
Okay. I'll
Yep.
have that on board.
Yep. They make a UV printer like what the samples are they have in your book. But I'll talk about that because we are far superior in speed. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is Vertilith. Vertilith is our RIP, proprietary RIP. It's a robust RIP. And I'm going to talk about this in just a second. I'm just going to run through a couple things here. So any kind of inkjet, all of our inkjets, all of our UVs, all come with Vertilith RIP. Okay, and it's like I said, it's a full version, so we'll do all your, any nesting. I'll talk about it in just a second. Next thing is we also group Flexi Designer. Anybody know what Flexi is? Flexi is probably the most used sign making software out there in my market. Okay, so Flexi is a design software for the sign guy, does all his layouts, his color, everything to it, whether he's running to a vinyl cutter, which I'll talk about in a minute with you, as well as running to an inkjet. So like I've been a Flexi user for 25 years, maybe longer. It's just a great software. It runs just about everything on this planet. Roland, Mamaki, Mutoh, everybody. But we include a free version of Flexi Designer with every printer. So therefore the customer has a way to be able to do print and cut. So you're printing on one machine, cutting on the other machine, being able to design with it. It is a full version, so after the year is up, whatever on the warranty, the 1 year warranty, for Flexi, it's a full version. They own that copy. They don't have to buy subscriptions every month like a lot of softwares out there. Okay, like my competitor Mamaki, after the first year, you have to buy every single month if you want to keep it. So if you want to keep your machine printing and cutting, you have to pay, $30 a month for it. Where for us, it's just included. You're in it, you have it for as long as you want. Type of thing.
In the Flexi Designer, is that the Mutoh edition? Or?
It is. So all it means by Mutoh edition, it just means it has the cutting capabilities, but it also has it for, I think it's GraphTech and who else? It'll say it on the sheet when I get to it. But yeah, it's basically for Mutoh. So anybody who's buying a printer cutter, that will have all the drivers for that.
But I was thinking, you gave me the
I
name
did.
of the guy at Flexi that
I did.
he was trying to,
The reason why I gave that to you is, because I think because you're gonna come into a lot of places that are gonna be like, well, we're not really, we wanna get into a printer, we wanna do this, we need a software that can do it. By selling Flexi directly, now you can run everything on the planet, meaning you could run a Roland right next to a Mutoh, next to a Mamaki, you can run all three of them at the same time.
it seemed like when there's some minor differences in if you bought the version of Flexi from Flexi over what the Mutoh edition could do.
No, because what it is everything if you bought it directly from Flexi, okay, it will act as the Vertilift rip. It will do the ripping, it will do the vinyl cutting. So if you have somebody that just says, well, I don't want to get into a printer yet, I just want to cut vinyl. So you could sell a Flexi with it, and all they do is have cutting capabilities. Then down the road, they decide, okay, well, now we want to get into an inkjet printer. You can upgrade your software and now be able to add a printer to it.
I think the full version of, or through Flexi, are they getting ready to go to a, kind of like a prescription
Yep.
level?
Yep. It's just really good software. So, and they have so many different levels of it. So if somebody said, hey, we have.
You just say prescription.
Prescription.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Subscriptions.
I know what you're talking
Listen, in this group, I'm gonna call him out every single time. That's what we do.
That's why I'm not talking.
Well, it's medicine, man. You need it to operate.
So, and there's a lot of people that will, or a lot of scientific people that you're gonna know that are gonna have older versions of Flexi.
Finish the first half, yeah, don't worry about it.
They have older versions of Flexi and they want to stay with Flexi. They like it for its rip. They like it for just its all-around sign shop use. And they're going to upgrade it and run their Mutoh off of it.
Okay.
So by selling it directly, it's just very nice because there's a lot of people who do that. You haven't seen it yet, but there are a lot. And a lot of them are going to ask you, okay, well, we're getting into this. Where do we do all of our design? Where do we bring our files from Corel or Illustrator into, where we can manipulate it and then run it to the printer? Flexi is just very good at that. So that's why I introduced you, because a lot of I'd say 95% of all my dealers sell Flexi. So, and Bobby's really good. He'll come up here and do whatever.
Which Corel or Illustrator, which one do you see people using the most of?
Illustrator.
Yeah, because Corel's been around.
Yeah, the older
I
sign
used it when
shops.
it was like one.
Yep, because you'll come across where
John, in West Virginia, everything here happens 20 years later.
Mhm.
So I should have my
Probably find a lot,
Corel version.
yeah.
So, yeah. And if there's any questions, when you have Flexi, how to use it, or your customer has a question, can't figure out how do I do this, I probably know.
So I just wanna make sure I
Sure.
understand. So if they buy a Mutoh, they get the Flexi
They get a Flexi designer.
subscription. Flexi designer. But we can sell Flexi to people who don't have, who have something else. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanna make sure.
Flexi-
I was not clear on, okay.
Flexi is a separate entity that
Okay.
is just widely used, and some people just prefer it over a rip. Like I would have Flexi in my sign, like currently I run Flexi in my house, whatever, and I have a couple vinyl cutters, okay, that are different makes. I like
Mhm.
Flexi because I can run
All of
my Mamaki with my Mutoh.
them. Okay.
So it's just very nice. It's not like I have to have something that's just like, like the Flexi Designer is basically just a design only with output capability just for the Mutoh. When you deal with Flexi, it's open to everything.
Okay.
It runs everything out there. It's got great profiles, it's got great color separation. It's just a little bit, and like I said, you might have just people that just want to run a vinyl cutter. Okay, which I'll explain that. Okay.
Which that's one of the things too, John, with you, maybe something we'll look at in the near future as we start moving these a little quicker, capability of setting up or designing the profiles.
Sure.
As long as John's with us and with the knowledge he has, it may be something he can do.
Sure.
You can just see how it's done.
Can we get an NFR Flexi?
That should be no problem at all. You should be able to get a few copies.
Great.
If you have any problem with that, I can talk to Bobby and get you a bunch of
NFR.
copies. Yeah. Yep, because it's really nice to run off your laptop too.
All right, I need to double check with Bobby. Sent me the dealer agreement and whatnot, and I sent it to Bob, but I think they kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit since we got back.
Gotcha. All right, so I'll start off with the beginning of this book here that I made for you. So on the first cover, you have samples of the UV, and there's my business card in it. Then you have our specials. So every month, you'll get these specials from me. Okay. So it's showing you exactly all the different printers and whatever the special is for the month. The next page has all the pricing on it, so you can see it. Okay, I'll see it. Okay, so the next one you have is our refurb sheet. So every month I come out with refurbed units, and all refurb units have a 1-year warranty. Okay, so parts, labor, on site. All of them, in order to be put on our refurb, is usually units that are used in a trade show, or we lent them out for an event or whatever. We bring them back, we treat them like they have to be overhauled completely, which takes us about 2 to 3 weeks to overhaul, to recertify the unit. So therefore, it has a full 1-year warranty on it. Wow.
Amazes me anything takes that long to work.
Yeah, but some of them don't need it. Don't need anything to it. They still go through the whole checking process, everything. That way, when you get it, it's 100%. So if you're looking for a deal on something, the refurb list, everybody goes after that first, and then they look at the regular priced units. Now, on the price book that looks like this, you'll see that there is a pink, an orange, and a blue. Those refer to the different printers. So all roll-to-roll printers, which you guys sell, are pink. Then the UV, which you guys are going to get into in the near future, are orange. And the blue are die sub, which you guys don't sell currently, but they're still there.
Aren't the die sub and the Ecos basically the same printers?
To some are, some aren't. They just put it in separate categories. So if you want to be able to sell into the die sub, we can talk about that.
I was thinking ours said basically the training was the same.
Okay.
If you went through one, you basically, it was just difference in the inks.
Okay, yeah, if that's something, if you want to sell the die sub, I'm game for that. It's up to you.
And the neat thing with the die, you want to explain the die sub to them?
Sure. So dye sublimation is being able to print to fabric. So what it is, you're doing a transfer. So what you're doing is you're printing in reverse to basically a paper. You're taking that paper, that ghosted image, right, that you can barely see the thing. You're putting it onto a fabric, and you're putting it through what's called a calendar machine. A calendar is just basically like a heater. It reaches 500 degrees, we'll say, and it keeps it at 500 degrees constant. Doesn't go 501 or 502. It's exactly 500 degrees, or 400 degrees, or 420, whatever you sell it for. As it passes through, it goes around the drum. When it comes out on the other side, you now have a piece of paper that you sent in with a ghosted image is gone, okay? And it's just plain paper. And on your fabric, it's embedded into it, that image. So as it goes around the drum, it changes from a liquid form to a gas, and then it sticks to anything that it's in there with, okay? So therefore, that's how you do all the prototyping for Walmart, Kmart, any of those kind of places where you have fabric shirts and everything. All the prototypes are done that way. United States Army, or any army for that matter, all their patterns and everything of their camouflage, all done this way. So it's a really big market. Or you can do the other way that you can do dye sublimation is you can have it print directly to the fabric. So, but most people do the paper with a transfer and pressing it because it lasts forever. And that's
When we were
very
training,
expensive.
I saw things where it looked like they were doing it onto metal.
Yep.
But they even had like coffee mugs and stuff, and it had this neat little device that basically just set the mug in with the paper around it, and it heat presses it
Yep.
right to the mug. And all the stuff they had in their showroom was amazing.
Yeah.
To,
There's a lot of different things.
you know, when I was thinking dye-sub, I was just thinking about like, you know, your t-shirt transfers, you know, so.
Oh yeah, you
Big
can do
deal, so-
fabrics, you can do billboard with dye sublimation that's just stretched, like polyester. Just snap, kind of like a sheet right over a mattress. Just fits right over the billboard instantly. It's crazy. And you're printing for pennies, literally pennies. Also to know with the dye sub, on our units, you can pay an additional $900 your cost, and you can turn off the locks on the cartridges. So on all of our inkjets, we have locks, just like everybody else does. Which, you know, basically if you're using a Mutoh, it's using Mutoh ink. That's how it works. It has a chip. Okay, it's a chip reader, it knows how much ink is in there and all that good stuff. On our dye sublimation, since ink is so inexpensive, a lot of dealers want to sell their own third-party ink. So we're the only ones in the industry that allow our dealers to unlock the inks. So you can either go with Mutoh ink and everything is covered, you know, underneath warranty, or you can unlock it, use a third party, and there's no or the warranty is taken off of anything that the ink touches. So all the lines, the heads, caps, the cartridges, all of that would not be covered because you're using a third party ink. Versus if you use ours. But our ink is very inexpensive too, but if you're buying it in like drums, yes, I would want to turn off the locks to it. So, but that's only on dye sublimation. Okay. All right. So next should be the Vertilift. Okay. And that's just like we were talking about. When you flip over to the back of it, it just has all the information on it. It's just a robust rip, and everybody knows what a rip does. Okay. All right. So in what?
Kind of like a fire reader.
Yeah, same thing.
Whatever.
It's our rip is very similar to Onyx, Wasatch, Caldera, you know, anything fiery rip. It's all basically the same thing. The one bonus that we have with our Vertilift that nobody else has is we have a Braille interpreter. So we have rights to the patent. DCS is the maker of Braille. And then we're the only ones in the US that have that permission with them because we build other things with them to sell and to cover us for the Braille, which is a huge thing. Because everybody else out there who does Braille doesn't do it to code, therefore you can get in trouble for that. It's anywhere from a $75,000 per little sign up to $150, $150,000.
So you mean like
Yes.
this right here?
Have
Yes.
we ever ran into anybody, Sean, Dave, that is producing Braille?
Have a look.
What?
Have a look. We haven't had
Right. I mean, but I've never heard anybody ask us.
It's a huge market. You
Well,
wouldn't believe
because
it.
we
Wait
don't-
till I talk about it.
And probably most people are going online to order it. We just haven't seen it to them, so
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
I'm
doing
just
it.
surprised we haven't ran into it.
We don't have
We don't
one.
have anything that was
Most people ran.
of this
But,
caliber to sell.
yeah, I mean,
Till now.
like what he's talking about is, you know, there's other people do Braille, but it may not be to specifications, and they could be fined for that.
Right.
Now, do they know that? Probably not. They're going online and say, hey, have
And
a
do
Braille
they
sign.
care? That's the other thing. Do they care? Probably not.
But say like a hospital, if a hospital checks it,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
because you're doing all these different floors of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in order to be to code for them, then they check it and you don't have it.
Or like hotels with all
Hotels,
the
Yeah.
schools,
They have liabilities.
yeah, there's all kinds of businesses.
I mean, there's a whole white page article or
Right.
paper on the specifics of the Braille. I mean, the dot height, the width. And
That's right. The
Wow.
doming on the top of it has to be a certain way. So yeah.
It's not just the fact that it's ready to print or not.
It's not-
The rip, is it comes in its own box?
It does.
Okay.
It does, and they are serialized to the printer.
So it's specific to the print.
Correct. Now, there's nothing saying you can't use, like say you use Flexi, and you take that other rip and you sell it somewhere else, you can redo it, like use it for other things
Okay.
as well, yeah. I've got one dealer in Florida who has their own proprietary rip for their Mutohs. I don't know what they do with our vertilift, but they sell it that way. They can try to control everything. Yeah, it's pretty whatever. But they're the only one. All my other dealers use the vertilift or they use flexi. Yeah.
So you can use Flexi instead of
Yeah.
the rip? Okay.
Mhm.
If you're using the full version
For-
of Flexi.
yeah, if I'm using
it has
Flexi
the rip
Sign
built
Pro.
into it.
Yeah.
The Mutoh edition of Flexi, you still have to use the vertilift,
You do.
because it's just a designer.
What's the advantage of having the rip versus Flexi?
So using the vertilift, what makes it an advantage is it doesn't cost anything. It comes with a printer. It's
There
free.
you go.
And it's a robust printer. It's a good rip. But if you've got, like I said, if you've got a sign shop that's been using Flexi forever, they've used Flexi sign, and now they have an old Roland or Mamaki over here, and they're buying a Mutoh, and they're like, well, we want to run them both at the same time. We want to take one file and send it to both of them and have the same kind of output to them.
Then you need the Flexi.
Then I need Flexi Sign Pro.
Okay.
Right, because if you say, well, no, you have to learn a new program and rip it here and design here only, they're gonna be like, no, we want to just upgrade our Flexi, because everybody knows how to use it. And we want to run a bunch of different things.
Okay.
That's why they buy Flexi. Okay. All right, next on the list should be the plotters. The plotters.
But I have
Is
one
that
called
value
cutters.
cut two?
Huh?
Value cut two, is that what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always referred to them as your cutters, but they refer to them as a plotter. Or I call this a plotter myself, but that's what
Oh,
they do.
gosh. I don't like that. That's not a plotter.
I not speak Japanese.
That's like, I have a friend who used to work on a cruise ship. And she's like, oh God, don't call it a boat. It's a ship. Lord, don't call it a boat. And I was like, yes, ma'am. They got very upset.
So plotter, cutter, because they do both. They will plot. They will draw a vector line if you're drawing a pattern, as well as they will cut. So it's just a vinyl cutter. Everybody knows vinyl cutters. In our industry, we call it a vinyl cutter, not a plotter. If you say plotter, they're gonna go, what? What? Okay, come in a variety of different sizes, 24, then they've got a 52, and then a 72, okay? What we do different is we don't do an all-in-one. We don't do a printer and cutter all-in-one machine. I'm a big fan of not doing it that way. Where like I have competitors that will do what they call a print and cut, like Mamaki, they'll do a print and cut. So it prints, and then as soon as it's done printing, it die cuts it out. My issue with that is you're making dust where you're printing. Nobody wants to make dust where you're printing, because then that's gonna leave particles on the print, and that means every time you want to do a print and cut, now you're holding up your whole process, where if you have the printer separately, I can just continuously print all day over here, and then as I want different things I can cut. So I can go back and forth between the two of them. Because in the sign shop, not everything, if you have an inkjet printer, not everything you do is just printing. You always have a cutter separate, therefore you can cut vinyl because you're cutting for pennies over here. You're printing over here, and then you're building your piece using both parts, and that's how they keep their costs down. It's usually only a franchise that will do everything on their printer, and that's why, a lot of sign shops do very
Well,
well.
the Mamaki or a Roland that have the print and cut, if the printer is malfunctioning, or the cutter is malfunctioning, would that shut down your printing
It
also?
does. And the worst part of it, out of all of it is, for me, is a cutter will go before a printer. Right? If you're cutting with that thing nonstop every single day, you're wearing down your inkjet. Where if you keep it separate, I could have that for the next 5 years. Vinyl cutters are so inexpensive, if they last 5 years or whatever, that's great. Because you're cutting so much vinyl. So I like it as any large sign shop that's doing field grabs will never have a print cut. They'll always have, this is our printing side over here, and we keep it in a clean room. And over here is where we have our cutter and where we build our signs and do our cutting and all that.
Yeah, the 24-inch MSRP is 2,500. The 50 for the 54-inch one's only $5,000. So that's why you don't want to put it into a $20,000-$30,000 printer.
Yeah. Okay, so any questions on vinyl cutters? And they basically, all you're doing is when you're inkjet printing, you're printing targets. It just goes to find the targets and then it does the die cutting. It's pretty simple.
Now, is that running off of software or is that just running off of the marks on the page?
No, it's running off the software because the software is telling it, okay, here are all your marks. Find your left or right, your back corners, and then it's going to come in and die cut it.
Okay.
So you're running from either Verlith or you're running it from Flexi.
Okay.
Yep. Like for me, I have FlexiSign Pro. I run 2 vinyl cutters. That's how I cut out the word Mutoh here, blue vinyl right here. And it's as simple as I just type in my text, I size it really quick, I send it off to the plotter. Plotter just cuts however many I want. Then what I do is do you guys know vinyl at all? Okay, so what it is you have a PVC, a PVC sheet with a wax backer and a oil-based adhesive underneath it. Okay, that makes up vinyl. What we do is we use a vinyl cutter and it comes in and will cut out the letters, right? I'll weed away the excess. I'll put what's called transfer tape, which is kind of like a masking tape almost, but a little bit less of a tack. I'll stick that down, rub it down with my hand, and it will lift up the letters in registration for me. I'll walk over here, I'll place it down, I'll squeegee it down, I'll pull off the tape. All my letters are kept in perfect registration. So, and I mean, you can stick it to anything. And vinyl will last anywhere from 3-year, 5-year, or 10-year. Depending on the quality of your product that you're using. And all sign shops cut a ton of vinyl. A ton of vinyl. A sign shop that starts off or somebody gets into the industry, they're buying Flexi software with a plotter. They're probably spending about $6,000. In the first year, they're making about $70,000. Okay. So it's just very lucrative, and I mean, everything you see outside is cut vinyl. I mean, every street sign, that's just cut vinyl. Reflective, fire trucks, ambulance, it's all just cut vinyl. So like if I was doing a fire truck, because I've done a million of those, it's all reflective, it's just cut vinyl, cut on a plotter, and then you have the images, the seals and everything that are inkjet printed or they're gold leafed or what have you. But, and as you drive around, today or tomorrow or whatever, and you look at all the signs around you, you can start to take them apart and be like, okay, I know how that was made. I know how that was made. My wife always makes fun of me because if I can't figure something out, I'll go up there and touch it. If I can run my hands over it, I can know how they made it. But everything is either inkjet or it's cut vinyl. So, okay. All right, next in your book,
The VJ628.
Yep. So the 628, this is a 24-inch cutter. This is for somebody getting into it or somebody who's looking to do hobby work. It's not that expensive. It's like $6,500. Has one print head on it, piezo print head. Uses 24-inch material. Okay, so this is another thing. In the sign industry, we have different sizes of media. Okay, the common sizes are 15, 24, 30, and 54. And then if you're doing a vehicle hood, it would be a 60-inch. There's very limited size. Okay. Anything other than that is just you're wasting product. So that's why our machine's 24-inch, because everybody sells 24-inch product. Like on the Roland BM20, they use 20-inch product. They use 20-inch product because they know you can only buy it either from them or from only a few sources. Where the way that we look at it is anybody who's cutting a lot of vinyl is going to want to have all the colors under the sun. So yes, you're only printing on white, but you want to get the most out of that white. I mean, you want to be able to print right to the edges. You don't want to have 24-inch material, but it only prints 20-inch, and now you just lost that space all the way, or then you have to cut down to only using 15-inch material. So on a 24-inch printer, I can use 15 and 24, okay? All of our printers, like I said, the Vertilift Rip comes free. The Flexi Designer Mutoh Edition, full version, comes free. This unit here uses two 220 milliliter cartridges. So you can do CMYK, as well as light cyan, light magenta. You can also, on our machine, you can upgrade it to a 1 liter bags. So if somebody's like, hey, I really want to do a lot of printing and prototyping and things like that, you can do this on this machine. All the other machines in the industry that are this size can only use a 220 cartridge. So it's nice to have a bigger size.
So I don't see this on our, this is not on our
No,
sheet.
no,
Okay.
because
Is it new?
it's what?
Is it new?
No, it's not new. It's just not a lot of people sell it. Just because they want the next one up to 54, and I'll explain why. Okay. So this is really for somebody who's prototyping, who wants to do all kinds of prototyping work. Okay.
Could this be good for schools, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I mean, if you need pricing or anything like that, you just let me know and I'll get it for you right away. And a lot of times we have refurbs of these as well because we use them at a lot of shows and things like that. It's just not a popular, month after month type of thing that people are asking for, unless they're, if you found like, oh, that's my market, I can sell a ton of these things, then I'll change that, put it on the price book for you.
We do a lot of school systems too, so that may be something that if the schools want to do some their signage and stuff, especially if it's going to be outdoor.
So where it works in the school, because I used to sell a lot of equipment to schools too, is for their auto body shop. So therefore they can fix the car and they can stripe it and letter it and everything. As well as
Vocational
doing
schools.
A-frame, because you can sell it as, okay, well, you can do A-frames, which that is you're printing onto white and then you're sticking it to coroplast. Coroplast is corrugated plastic.
Are we selling into vocational schools much?
I'm not.
John, do you have any in your territories?
No.
I'm not aware of hardly any of the vocational schools we have. Most of our school systems are the K through 12, just regular school system or schools. That would be something to go after though. You may even find that,
The graphics art.
is Putnam County vocational under the, I guess they're under the regular Putnam County Board.
Yeah.
It might even be a good place to go, just to have them do the signage and stuff for the schools. Let them order it from the VOTEC school.
Yeah.
Might be a good way to attack that.
Yeah, I know the principal there.
All you need is one school and it spreads like fire. Because like I sold to one school, one town, and then they all find out and they're like, oh, we want to be able to do our own for all of our different, ball games and everything like that, and banners, and then they make it into a whole class for the kids too. They making signs and learning that whole industry, and it just goes crazy. So okay.
Does Mutoh have any like national co-op contracts? AEPA, NASPO?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can find out.
Okay. That's something we're working on a local basis for West Virginia is a AEPA contract for education.
Yeah.
And if we can get it on that, then they don't have to go out to bid every time. And it's just a
Sure.
one-time bid thing. But if you all have already got some type of a
We
contract,
don't, but we would do something with you. We'd be like, we would come in as a partner and say, hey, this is what Mutoh's willing to offer for this program that you're dreaming up or coming up with. All right, some of the things to know just about all of our printers moving forward. We have a couple terms that you'll see on every single piece of literature. One is the AccuFine. That refers to our print heads being 35% faster. If you take care of the print heads, what I mean by that is on any inkjet, if you're cleaning it every day, then your equipment is running right, life is good, everything goes good for you. Like competitors will say, oh, you only have to clean your machine once a week, okay? I disagree with that, because as you're printing, especially banner, to get the little particles, it will stick to the print head. If you don't clean it every day, you go to print the next day, it hits droplets, it makes it ruins your print. So as soon as you tell a customer, hey, every day, it literally takes 2 seconds to bring it down to the other end, just clean around the print head, you're good for the day. Then you don't have to worry about this or that. Because all inkjets will make ink, obviously will print ink, and you just have to braid. It makes the head last longer. So if you took care of it once a week, and then you're really scrubbing on everything, the head's gonna go much faster. Where if you just do it every single day, like it's just like, hey, come in the morning, I clean around the print heads, I'm good for the day, I can do all my printing I need. It's gonna last, 5+ years on that print head.
It's very important with these, because the print head on these are $3,000.
Yeah.
If you leave
$400
with
or
that, you're gonna do it every day.
But if you take care of them, they last a long time.
Yes.
So it's just, the next term is ice screen technology. Okay, what that is when you do inkjet printing on anybody's printer, you have, it's printing, bi-directional, both directions, and sometimes when you look at it, depending on the profile, you can see the bands, right? You see a big picture, and you look at it, you're like, oh, I can see the bands going across it. With Mutoh, we don't go across. Ours actually goes like this. We do a wave. So therefore, when you look at it, you can't see any banding. Okay.
When you say wave, how does that physically do that?
So it's printing like this, but the way it's dropping the inks and firing the inks, it's making a wave pattern.
Okay.
Okay. We're controlling the droplet as well. So we're not just like throwing ink down there going across. It's dropping ink like this as it goes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Okay, it's more like this.
Yeah, groovy.
So weird.
The other term is Drop Master 2. That's controlling the distance between the head and the media. So the head will adjust. Okay, so as it's printing, so therefore you have really crisp images coming off the inkjet. Okay. Feed Master is the next one. That prints a barcode when you load material. So if you had a profile you used, you had the material, you took the material out, you did something else, you put that material back in, it will read the barcode and it knows everything. Therefore, you can just start printing right away instead of going, okay, now what profile did we use for this? Do we need to do a test print first? You can just take all that out of the equation. Media tracking just helps with lining up the material. It's basically using a lot of inkjets and plotters will have them. They're called flanges. I don't know if you're aware of flanges. Flanges are just what holds the material, so it keeps it so it's always tracking one direction. And the way that the wheels are made, they pitch them to the out, so therefore when the material's running through it, it's pulling it to either side, nice and tight. Nozzle area select. What that is if you have so many nozzles on the bottom of the print head, if a few of those nozzles get clogged in the middle of printing, it just moves on to the next one. So it has about a 30% that I can lose and still have a beautiful print, which is amazing. Okay. All right, so let's get to. So the next one is the 1341 SR Pro. This is a 54-inch printer. Okay, 54 is the most common product in my industry when it comes to inkjet printing. Everybody on this planet who sells or who manufactures vinyl, laminates, all kinds of different top coats and specialty products, everybody sells 54. Biggest market, more than 24. Okay. Does everybody understand why you use laminate?
Make it last longer.
Yep. Make it last longer. Yep. Because an inkjet is, the ink is a 3-year outdoor. When you put a laminate on top of it, you made it into a 5-year. So any kind of like vehicles or anything, you have a gas tank, or you're putting graphics, say they're cut vinyls over where they're filling up, pumping gas into their car. A lot of times people will use laminate on top of that. Also with cars, the reason why we use laminate is because you go through a car wash or they're rubbing on it with brushes. If you rub on an inkjet print hard enough, Like with a quarter, I mean, you will get it to come off. By putting the laminate on there, it just protects it. When you're doing a vehicle wrap, it makes it so it's rigid, so therefore I don't have to use transfer tape to apply it. I can just take a 54-inch piece and stick it right up to a car, no problem. And it's just, vehicle wrapping is like a shrink wrap, is how you look at it, because the cast being poured, when you go to apply it to something, you add heat, it just grabs around it. It'll grab around a hinge, a corner. That's how you get like a graphic goes all through the grill, and you're looking at going, how did they get it to do it? Heat. Heat just will make it form. Where if I did the same thing with calendar, it would do it, and then as soon as it got cold or there was a temperature change, it would pop everywhere. Because it's rolled, it's going to go back to its original state. So that's why you don't put calendar on a car.
So explain to me,
Sure.
sorry. So I'm gonna print the wrap on my fabulous Mutoh,
Correct?
and I'm gonna use laminate, and it's gonna be fabulous.
So how'd you put the
And then-
laminate on?
I don't know. That's not my question.
Okay, I thought that was your
No,
question.
my question is, how do I then take it from what it printed and I put it on a car? Like, how does that happen? How do
Sure.
you get it on the car? And is that something, like if I sold a Mutoh to somebody because they want to do vehicle wraps,
Yep.
are they the ones who are also putting it on the car,
They
or
are.
are they selling it to some?
Put
are
the
they
car
selling
in the
wrap?
machine. And
Yeah.
I'm
Sure,
a little,
sure,
I
yeah.
got a little disconnect as to
Yeah.
how we get from point A to point
I've
B.
wrapped everything under the sun.
And I'm
I can
sorry
answer
that's
this.
not, and
No,
I'm
no,
sorry
no, this
that's
is
not
good.
an obvious thing, but
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
have a
this
clue.
is perfectly fine. This is
Okay.
a great, great question, okay? So what you'll have in a sign shop is you'll have a printer, you'll have a laminator. A laminator is basically just a hot roller, or it's a roller machine that just puts clear
Right.
right down to it in one shot. Once you have that clear on top of it, you're trimming it out. So you have a big table, you trim out each of your pieces, okay? And what you're doing is you're bringing it over to the vehicle, and it's got the backing on it, so it's got a paper, wax paper on it, right? So therefore it doesn't stick to the vehicle. You get another person, you peel off the back, you pull the material tight, you apply it to it like a tent almost on the car, on the side, and then you start working it with a squeegee,
Okay.
and it starts to stick. But it doesn't stick until you really squeegee it hard. So if I took a big piece off and I stuck it on the side of a car, I can rub my hands over it just to get an idea of where, you know, the handles are and everything like that. Then I apply heat with a propane torch.
Okay.
When I add the heat to it, it sticks right away.
Okay.
Yep.
Can
Exactly.
I get the big ones? That
We definitely need,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
definitely
You
need
just
it
need
in
a
the
little
school
one.
system.
The squeegee makes sure that it's in the place you want, the position you want it.
Yeah, and if it's
then you
not,
just
because it's a air release, because all wrap material is air release, okay, so two different types of adhesives. You have instant contact, right, which is on a calendar. When you stick it, it sticks. There's no pulling that thing off. Then you have, on cast, you have what's called air release. Air release means there's tiny beads of glue, so therefore if I stick it down and I don't like it, I can pull it up.
Okay.
And I can re-stick it. So if I stuck it down and I had a wrinkle in it, I can snap it up, pull it tight, and stick it back down.
Okay.
And while you're doing it, you're basically stretching it to it. So you're either using a heat gun that reaches, you know, I don't know, 800 degrees, or using a torch. I prefer a torch. Because it gives you
So at
instant
some
heat where you
point,
want
the
it.
measurement of the vehicle you're wrapping is key in this whole situation. You gotta know how
Yes,
big it needs, you know.
to some degree, but we have, in our industry, we have templates.
Oh, okay.
So, and any sign guy or sign girl is going to have
Type of
templates.
model vehicle. you
Right,
put it in
right,
there.
yeah.
So I
Okay.
can say, I can pull up the template, it'll show me the basic.
Gotcha.
And then what I'm doing, like if it's a Volkswagen, right, and it's got like this, like it's a bug.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at it like it's a rectangle,
Okay.
because I know there's going to be, I'm gonna be stretching it.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah,
I got you. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Okay, so 54 is the most common. More people buy this unit over a 24, because most sign shops are gonna do 4x8s. When they're making signs, they're doing 4x8, or they're doing something smaller, okay? So by having a 54-inch printer, it just opens the door for materials. They can buy materials anywhere for the thing, okay? So this is a CMYK printer. This uses the wave technology. This has 220 cartridges, or you can upgrade it into 1-liter bags. It's nice. It comes with a stand. You're using eco inks that are Green Guard certified. Just means that if you're not breathing any fumes or anything like that. All inkjet printers from the 24 all the way up the line all require a starter ink set, okay? Starter ink sets, if you are communicating with me and telling me, hey, Jeff, I'm working on this deal, what can you do to help me out? 99% of the time, I'm always gonna throw in the starter inks. If you don't,
Call Jeff.
yeah, that's right. The more you call me, the more I'm gonna help you. You might come back to me and say, hey, son, I'm trying to work this out. What else can I get? Or what else can you help me with? Or can you call the customer to help me dial in exactly what they're looking for based on, what their jobs they do? I'm always available to help you out. This also has one printhead, it has a wave technology, okay? And every month, you always want to check to see what the specials are because a lot of times we change the warranty. So all equipment comes with a 1-year warranty, and then depending on the month, we might have a 2-year, or it might have a 3-year on that printer, okay?
So like this printer doesn't laminate it, right?
It does not, none of them laminate.
So, but I've
It's a
seen
separate
these
process.
wraps around most of these vehicles. I wasn't under the impression that like they faded off or just got crappy or brittle. How does it go bad after 3 or 5 years?
Fades.
It just fades.
And then what you'll do is you'll heat it up and pull it off.
Well,
Because it's an air release.
So
So
like I've never really paid attention to somebody with wraps it going bad. Even like our competitor down here has that little systematic. They've had that vehicle forever.
you're just changing it up every 5 or 6, 7 years, depending on how strong the sun is here. Like Arizona, it's going to be 5 years you're going to be switching it.
Nowadays.
In Connecticut, where I used to live, before I was down to South Carolina, I mean, I would get like 8 years out of a wrap.
Okay.
And then it's just slowly fading. Your reds will go first, and then the other colors will start to fade. And then by that time, you just bring it in, pull it off, do another wrap on it. It's out on the road. You don't even
Time to
notice
trade
it.
your car
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
Nobody fixed car years ago.
And some people will put colored vinyl. They'll do a high performance, we'll say like a flat color to protect the paint underneath. So therefore, they can drive it around with a different look on it. When they go to trade in the car, they can just pull it off and it has a brand new paint job on it.
just wonder everybody's getting their wraps around here, or unless they order them. But even if you're going to
Somebody's
put
doing it.
wraps on, they're ordering them somewhere, or they're making them. But
It's usually the sign guy who is printing them is applying them because there's good money in it.
right.
Especially
You're
guys that
getting-
do window tint, will do these also.
Oh yeah. And all they'll do is they'll go to a major trade show and they'll take a class on how to do it. It's I'd say it's 80% or 90% the material and 10% talent. It's really not that difficult to use cast.
I was say you should be able to do this, Casey. Just kidding.
Wow.
So I'm on a roll
That's
today.
why I'm not talking.
So at what level of these do they start doing car wraps?
From the 54 up.
Okay. Okay.
So from this unit here
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Because if I did on the 24, it's only going to be partial. Like I used the 24 if all I was doing was doors, like logos, like
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle, yeah.
motorcycles, exactly. Snowmobiles, quads.
Okay.
But
anything
you're basically
like
just gonna
that.
be at that pink level.
Yeah.
Correct, just the pinks.
Yep,
Just the paints.
Yeah.
just depends.
You get.
Okay.
Yeah. I figured.
The bars at the bottom.
Well, those are,
Oh.
But
The base are
so another
solid.
question. Most wraps you see are laminated, so they're going to print
They
this
are.
and then laminate it.
They are. The reason for that is if you had just the printed material and you peeled off the backing, it would be too flimsy. It would just be like, it would just fall on
yeah.
itself. When you put the laminate on it keeps it rigid.
Gotcha.
So it makes it so it's really stretchable. And that's another thing to talk about, having to do with material. When you're using a cast vinyl, you use a cast laminate. You do not mix and match. Bad things will happen to you. If you use a calendared product and you put a cast on it, you're safe because the calendared is going to go back to its shape. The cast will follow it. Okay. I would rather do calendared. If I'm using calendared vinyl, I use calendared laminate. If I'm using cast vinyl, I'm using cast laminate. That way it moves together.
So this may be another dumb question. So you have to buy that machine, another laminate machine, right?
Correct.
And that's back in here somewhere? Or?
No, I don't sell
They don't sell-
laminate.
he doesn't
My
sell
my previous
He's in the
life.
laminating business.
What?
You guys should get in the laminating business.
Yeah. Yep. That's my previous life. I used to design and build laminators.
Okay.
So I know if you have a customer has any questions about laminate or anything, I'm a guru in that. So, but there's several laminators out there, and if that's something you guys want to get into, I know I
No.
can help you with that.
Well,
They're really a simple machine. They are by themselves, and all you're doing is you're putting a roll of laminate in there. You put your print, goes in the front on a roll. As it goes through, it winds in the back.
We've used, the little ones
Yeah.
for meat,
we'll post
standard
pictures.
paper.
These are just 54.
Just bigger version of that.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. There's nothing to it. It's a,
But it's a hot lamination instead of cold press?
well, you have laminators come in cold and heat assist. Okay, so cold is it's just pressure sensitive. Okay, heat assist just means you don't have any silvering. Like if your room is cold and you put your pressure sensitive on top of your printed graphic, it will silver. Meaning when you look at it on an angle, you'll see like silver flakes, like a silver look to it. And when you leave it out for, like a day, the silvering dissipates. By using heat, it just makes it so it doesn't silver. It looks like a sheet of glass instantly. Therefore, you can go from printing to laminating to applying very quickly. If you're doing indoor graphics, use a heat assist because you want everything you laminate to look like a sheet of glass. You don't want any silvering or modeling or anything like that. You don't want to have to, we just did this, we printed it, we laminated it, it's got silvering because the room is cold, and now the customer comes to pick it up and he says, oh, what's this, right? If the room is warm, or like the best time, if you have a cold laminate, you stick it out in the warehouse, that's perfect because it's so hot back there. It just makes it, like glass every single time you use it. So, and the other thing to talk about there is there are other machines out there, which are applicating tables. Applicating tables work like a laminator does, they just do it in sheet form. They just make it so you can mount to boards quicker. And if that's something you guys are interested in, I can help you out with that too.
I think it's just a good idea for us to know that we have those.
Yeah.
To, when we're talking to a print shop about the printer, that we can walk them through the whole process of
Sure.
what they need to have or we can get for them.
And if it comes to be that your customers are asking for laminators or they're asking for applicating tables or want to know more about it, you just reach out to me and I'll help you, guide you that way.
So we're printing the document, taking the laminating machine, laminating the document, taking it over to the cutter, and it's going to not
Yep.
interfere with seeing through that laminate. It's
It
gonna see
sees
the
right through
colors.
it, no problem. Just die cuts it right out, and that way you can say, okay, when I cut it out, I don't want to cut right on the edge of my print. I want it actually to be a 1/4 inch past it. You cut it out. That way when I apply it and stick it to something, I'm like making it nice and secure. Vehicle.
But the cutters, do they do where it's not cutting all the way through?
Half cutting.
Yeah. So
do
you
that.
have a backing on it that you're not cutting through the backing.
Correct, yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think it's your turn. Yeah. So, yeah, so.
Dumb it down.
Dave talk,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a
I
class
had to think
on,
about it from like,
He's nicer.
Dave offers a class on his terminology too.
That's right.
yeah, so all vinyl cutters will cut through the
Cookie doodle.
PVC top, but not touch the paper, wax paper on the bottom. So it'll cut all the way, cut all the way around, whatever the shape is. So therefore you can have really intricate die cuts. Okay. The next one is the 1641 SR Pro. Okay. This is our #1 for vehicle wrap. Okay.
This is the one we just sold to UPS store.
Oh, okay.
Logan did.
Yep, dealer cost is 10.5, the list is 19, one print head. Like I said, it's a wrapper's choice, comes with Verlift, comes with Flexible Designer, has auto height adjustment, so when you put in product, it knows to automatically lift for the best print. It comes in 1,000 milliliter bags, CMYK. There's 4 slots for cartridges to plug into. The stand is included. It uses our MS41 Green Guard certified ink. Also requires a starter set. And it's just if somebody's doing a lot of vehicle wraps, because it comes in 64, the reason why this is more popular than the 54. So the 54 is used for somebody getting into the industry. Somebody goes, hey, I want to start doing vehicle wraps, I want to do partial wraps, I want to do A-frames, I want to do banners, I want to do a lot of different things in a sign shop. A lot of them will start with a 54 because it's a common size. People who go, I want to do vehicle wraps, maybe some other signs, but mostly vehicle wraps. The reason why they're getting a 64 over a 54 so they can do a hood in one piece. So there's not a seam. It's the only reason. Where some people with 54 that start off that way, they'll be like, hey, they'll just sub out the hood to another
They wouldn't
shop.
try to do two pieces?
No, because your eye will go to it every single time. You can't get away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
When you keep talking about the starter,
Starter ink set.
how many milliliters is the starter ink?
The starter inks are usually, well, it depends on the model, but they're 220 milliliter cartridges, and it's just one of each of them. So like, on this one,
on the 1341,
yeah,
I see 220.
Yes.
It's a full timer, full ink.
yeah.
What we see a lot with equipment is a starter ink's gonna be about half a full size.
On
Less
another.
than half.
No, because you're putting some of the ink, you're filling the lines with and everything, so they're giving you a 220 full
Yeah.
cartridge.
And
Yeah.
they're paying for that, or that?
Well,
No, it all depends if you're reaching, if you're not reaching out to me and talking.
Oh,
to me
that's
about
right, that's
yourself,
right, yeah,
then
yeah.
yes, you're paying for that, or they're
okay.
paying for that.
I got you.
If you're reaching out to me,
I
you might
got
say, hey, you know something, instead of
Um,
this, can we get 5 off the machine instead of the starter inks?
Right.
I don't know what you're gonna ask me. I'll do either or I'm willing to.
How do you want the sound of the
Yeah.
customer?
Yeah, however you want to position it. Because I mean, it's nice when you say, hey, I'm selling you this machine that you're looking for. I just want you to know that we want to do business with you, so we're giving you
Comes with everything. It's
the
ready, yeah.
inks ready to go. And stuff like that.
Like 1641, it has 1,000 milliliter bags is all it uses.
So, well, the other one has an optional milliliters, but is it
Yeah.
just a key you just turn, or a code, or a,
No, it's
No,
a
it's
different
different.
cartridge
Yeah.
altogether.
but it won't accept it unless you pay the upgrade?
Right. Yeah, and it's just a different housing for it, so that way you can.
Right, that's what I was
Yeah.
asking.
Let me see, where's my?
Gotcha.
So,
And something else in addition to inks that the customer would have to buy from time to time is the flushing
Liquid.
solutions. And it basically goes in the cartridges and you just flush out the whole system.
why would you use the flushing cartridges?
And if you need them to move them or just to clean them out.
Right.
Yeah,
You're
we have a
moving
lot of-
or you're storing them for a long period of time. If your customer said, we're moving to another shop, we're not gonna have that one built. We have our machine sitting here, we're not gonna be using it for a month.
Flushing.
Flushing. You're gonna move them.
Those
Flushing.
flushing cartridges aren't very expensive.
No. Yeah, so like, you can see here, that right there, these are all the startup, you can see all the different ones. So, and I'll make sure you guys have these too, this whole area right here. But basically, do you want, cause some of the printers you can choose, you can say, I want CMYK ×2 as my startup package, or I want CMYK white varnish. Okay, so.
And here's another question
Sure.
that maybe I should know, but you keep mentioning A-frame, I don't know. what that
Oh,
is.
so things that are really used a lot in the sign industry are A-frames. It's just
Oh, like the, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm with
The
you.
number one thing that people when they first buy a printer do banners. They use a lot of banner product because it's so cheap. It's costing them less. Well, I'd say like $1 a square, and they're charging $7 to $8 a square for that. Yeah, you'll be pumping a lot of that. It's like vehicle wrap. You make good money on that. Okay, the next one is the 1682, and that has a dual head on it. That means 2 print heads. Okay.
Fancy.
All right. Also, just to know, at any time, like say somebody bought a machine from you and it has a 2-year warranty only, and they decide, okay, well, we want to add a 3rd year to it. You can do that. You can add a 3rd or a 4th year and extend it. As long as it's still underneath warranty, they can just pay the price. You guys pay the price for it. You guys continuously, service it. If they're out of warranty, then you have to send a tech to do a whole form and everything to check it all out and everything like that. But you can always add to the piece of equipment.
And something we are working on is the warranties are basically going to cover bad product or, bad head or something of that nature. It's not going to cover, it's not a general maintenance agreement per se that is going to cover us to come in and do a routine cleaning for the customer or, the typical maintenance things that we may do for a customer. So we're looking at trying to figure out the best way to do a maintenance agreement in addition to the warranty.
I have an idea on that.
Yep.
So what a lot of people will do, or dealers will do, is, like I said to you before, is they'll do, if you buy X amount of product from me every single month, when you have an issue and you need one of our techs to come out, you have a more urgent call, meaning like we'll be out there next day to take care of your needs. As long as you meet this limit of ink, that way that every month, every order that they're placing for ink and materials is coming to you. It's not, they're giving you one ink order and they're buying it elsewhere because you're acting like an insurance policy.
Yeah, but if you have somebody too that doesn't, is not going to maintain their machine daily, and we're going to have to, when we do go in to service it, we're going to have to do more intense cleanings and whatnot. That's where this other maintenance agreement is going to have to come into play somehow.
Yeah, so the other thing that I like is once a year you take your top customers and you tell them that this is a tune-up and it goes for X amount of dollars, and it's usually the whatever months are the slowest for your tech. So for me, it used to be, for my techs, it was January and February were my slow months. So I would send out a letter every single year to all my customers, and I'd say, hey, if you want to be ready for the next year and be printing, without, kind of like a checkup, you can get on this list. It went for X amount of dollars, and I would send out a tech, and they would just go from place to place to place. And that way I'd have all my equipment, all my different customers' equipment. It would be all clean, checked everything. And that way they would get a reduced cost if the technicians are already on site and they needed more dampers or they needed, extra time cleaning it or whatever. And people would just line up. I would have 60, 70 in those months to go, and I'd have, my techs would be busy all the time doing it.
Somebody's loved you, didn't
Yeah. But it's better than having them just sit there and do nothing, on a slow month. So, again, this one has the Vertilift, the Flexi Designer, the stand. It comes with a winder on it, on this unit, and this is just about speed. This does over 1,000 square feet. I think it does 1,200 square feet an hour. So it will just hum through product, okay? Let's see, what else?
The 1682. It actually has, you can do it as a 4-color or an 8-color.
I see that.
Correct. 8
It
slots.
has eight slots, but you can either do 4 of the CMYK or you can do the light magenta,
Light, yeah.
light orange.
Black, orange, yeah. So it's really however you want to pipe it when you start. That's how it's going to
That
be.
kind of pushes the color almost into the RGB range.
Yes, yeah. So if people are trying to get a lot more flesh tones, yes, they'll go with the light cyan, light magenta, light black, orange. So they get just a higher gamut. Versus somebody who's doing vehicle wraps, they're going to do CMYK, CMYK. They're just looking for sheer speed. They just want to chunk through product, wrapping buses or what have you. And that's just vertical panels like this wrapped and over. So the next one is the 2638, and that's just our big boy. This is 104 inch, so it will use anything from 104 down. So I can use 60 inch in, I can use 54 in it, So, and this is just basically, this is a $50,000 printer, stand and immediate takeover reels included. CMYK times 2, or you can do the CMYK light cyan, light magenta, light black. 8 slots to choose from. This also does 1 liter bags versus it could do 220 as well as 440. It has 2 print heads. Another thing to know, on the extended warranties will cover everything on the machine. When it comes to a print head, it's based off of what is on the machine. So if the machine has 1 print head, that means on the extended warranty it would come with 1 free print head. If the machine has 2 print heads, it would come with 2 print heads in that warranty period. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to talk about UVs. So I put right in there the ADA, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. So what I did is in your first, when you opened up your notebook, you had a bunch of samples. Okay. So I just want to talk about these samples for a second. Okay. So in order to make this on our machine, it builds all the height in one pass. On the pass going the other direction, bidirectional, it prints the color, the picture. Okay. So to make something like this, it takes us about 5 minutes to make this. Okay. My closest competitor is Mamaki. They take 16 passes to make the height, where we do it in 1. Okay. We have the Braille, we have the patent for the Braille, they do not. Their Braille die is flat on the top. Okay. So this right here is costing what to make it is like $1.40 maybe, and people sell these for $30 a piece. The bigger ones they sell for anywhere from $70 to $100 for these things.
So it's just a mini scale, like 3D printing, like
So yeah, so all that height that you see the white,
stack it up.
yeah, it's stacking white or varnish depending on however you want to do it. Then you have something like that. Or these.
Like that big picture.
Like fake stained glass.
Yeah. Or look at this. This is cool. This is just a regular
Oh, that's
print.
awesome.
And then you're printing your
Business
building
cards.
lines. So that way
Yeah.
when you slide, you can do it on prints, everything. Yeah. So I have a bunch of these for you guys.
God, I'm hungry.
Looks so real, you could almost eat it.
That's amazing weird, because I was thinking it was stamped or something when I first grabbed it. Like,
It's ink.
it's really cool.
Just using a varnish to.
So this, you're saying single pass, which is cool. 10 times quicker than the
Oh, yeah.
Mamaki.
So for them to do that takes close to an hour. Here we go. Jeez.
You do this on multiple of sheets though, right?
Oh yeah, I can fit, depending on the size of the, yeah, you can see it right here. So I gave you one thing, this is a 6x9. Okay, to build it up took 5 minutes, it took 8 minutes to do the bigger one. So this one right here took 8 minutes.
Yeah, this one feels like it's raised up.
Total cost of build up colors, everything was $279. It sells for $80.
Jeez.
Wonder, is there any like do you have customers in our area now? Besides dealers, do you have like customers that you are aware of that have bought
don't.
Mutohs?
I don't.
Well, UPS store.
UPS or.
Now they found they were at a show or trade or UPS and UPS franchise people said this is what we recommended.
Yeah, so UPS, what else? A lot of the franchises, Minuteman, they all go to the sign shows. They know this technology.
He was asking about Virginia. Did we cover Virginia with these?
We're going portions of Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio.
Okay.
So when
We're not doing
Lee's,
the whole states just because we can't.
Is it our same portions that we, like, you know, my same counties that I
just-
Ohio?
I think this is a whole job in itself. Like our typical printers. I mean, this is a full-time job.
that's our number one selling printer is our 661, more than our inkjets or anything else, because nobody has anything like it in the market that's that fast,
Right.
where you can make that kind of money that quick.
I think if you're
So
purchasing something like this, you'd want to be online and be selling it everywhere, all over the.
Oh yeah, like I have a dealer that only sells this unit, and they make custom jigs. Because if you think about it, you can print all kinds of things. So like, if you said like, say you were dealing with somebody that did flashlights, right? And they wanted to print a graphic on the handle of the flashlight. IDS will make you a custom jig. They'll do it for all my dealers because I'm friends with the owner. So therefore, you can just drop in all these flashlights, prints it right across. You pop them out, you pop the next ones in. You're not trying to hold them down or tape them or anything like that. Just a
Like that coffee cup.
yeah. Or we have what's called a rotary for cups, so you can print around a cup on these machines. Yep.
Golf balls.
Golf balls,
Balls.
phone cases,
Now, another thing
pens.
is that if you
Mug.
have things like this and you want to print a lot of them, that you can actually, I guess you print it on the bed,
Yep.
a template, so that as I print 10 of these, and I've laid it in, it's actually creating an outline, so when I drop this in, it's going to be in the same spot every time. So if I need to print 100 of them, I can just pull off the first batch after we're done, lay the second ones right in the template.
Vacuum, hold it right down in place, prints them right across. It lets the vacuum off. You peel them, you pick them off, stick the next set down, and they're dried instantly.
But it's using that varnish to create like an outline of where I'm going to lay them, so I'm laying them in the exact same spot every time. And then after you're done, you can just scrape that off.
Yep, just scrape it off. Or if you're like you're doing golf balls, that's when you use IDS
That
to
was
make
mine.
custom jigs,
Whoops.
which they'll make them for you, and then you can sell
You
them.
look at it, but that was,
So
that's
anything that they come up with, like they do crazy things.
I got Italy.
Where you can be printing one while
I
setting
know.
up a jig for the second one. So you're just, instead of placing, 50 golf balls down on the tabletop, you already have it in a jig where you just take that jig off, put the next one right in there, you're printing. While you're popping those off, it's printing.
So with the Flexi Designer, how hard is it to, if somebody comes in and they basically have a graphic of what they want to be printed on, but I need this to be raised print, braille, whatever. How detailed of knowledge does the print shop have to be to
None.
design this?
No, so when it comes to these, I tend to favor the Verlift and the Flexi Designer as my way to do it. Because it's different than an inkjet, than a roll-to-roll printer. Roll-to-roll printer, I tend to like, you're either going the Verlift or you're going the Flexi, Design Pro to run that because you want to run multiple printers. Somebody running one of these is usually a separate entity. So therefore I use the Verlift because when you go to create within it, it's very easy. I bring in my file and wherever I want to put Braille, it's just a line of text. All I do is I click on a button for Braille and it switches it right for me. It switches it right to dot. There's no go here or whatever. And then when you go to build height, you just pick a profile. The profile says Braille on it. It knows what you want to build and where it is. So it makes it very user-friendly and easy to do.
So on something like these where you have
That's
that.
just a layer. Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're doing in Illustrator is you're building your file in layers and you're saying, okay, my top layer, I'm going to use a clear on it.
But typically you have a customer's coming in with this image.
Yeah.
And then I have to build the layer for the syrup because it's going to be erased.
Right. Right. I'm just making a layer there and I'm just coloring that layer clear and then.
Do you guys offer a class to get started?
Oh yeah. So anybody who went to training, like your guy, he went through Verlift training, so he knows how to use the software as well. And that's where you would do the Start Right kit.
Okay.
Or if anybody
So the
here
Start Right
wanted to
kit's
know
gonna give us
Verlift,
the-
you can do it online. You can take the test and everything for it
Okay.
online. Yep. Know it inside and out, everything to do it.
Yeah, because even in class, this is called a light version. We didn't get into all of the bells and whistles of the software. So there's a lot of things in there that we can do that we didn't even touch on.
Right, and also when you sell your first few units, one of my service engineers is going to be with you. Because the way that we look at this, or Mutoh looks at this, is we're partners in this. So the better we train you and help you and everything,
Right.
it goes both ways.
Right.
So we're
Less
all
calls
about,
you get.
that's right. Well, it's the more you're going to sell, the better you're gonna feel about,
Y'all
installing
might have
equipment and
met
everything.
him when he was in for the UPS store, Darion.
Yeah.
Darion.
Yeah.
He's so
It's Italian.
French.
Yeah, so he'll come out there and he'll stay an extra day, make sure your customer's really happy, so he'll install equipment, or they will, whoever it's assigned, they'll install equipment, as well as stay an extra day for the customer, that way they feel really good about it, because usually when a tech comes out and installs something, they install it and they're gone right away. We wanna have a different feel about that, so the first few, you can be there on site, everything, they're gonna go in depth through the software and the printer and how to take care of it properly.
About
Yeah.
posting it, will they use
So-
something like this?
As soon as these guys sell them, I'll probably get involved with that.
I can foresee them doing a lot of things like this for people, not necessarily the braille, but just in general raised print type things.
Yeah.
They have a post-it, kind of like a UPS store, Minuteman.
Do you ever run into an issue where you have a local business that has the equipment and they're just getting crushed by online
No, because the quality,
qualities? better?
yeah, you pay for what you get in this world, and if you look really close at the quality, it's either the braille isn't the quality, it doesn't have the backing, or even the printing. You look at the printing, you're like, you can see the banding in it versus, getting something that's, done locally that you can really customize it. But usually, I don't really have a problem with online, or at least end users, and end users don't have an issue in this industry because you have such a relationship. Once you start selling to a customer and they start selling to their customer, the quality, the knowing that, hey, I need this right now today. I don't have to order this and wait for it.
Yeah.
And now it comes in, I can see it's all pixelated. And when you look at it, you're like, versus, hey, I can get it and it looks crisp and everything and I can get it the next day. Because I can do these, same day. But where this really comes into play is a lot of like prototyping and just making custom things. And it's just like, let's see, last month I had somebody wanting to do makeup, the little lipstick things. They wanted to do, thousands of these things, and they wanted custom jigs. So IDS, for my dealer, gave them a great deal on making custom jigs where they could drop, I don't know how many on one jig, put it in the machine while they're loading another one over here, so that one person can do both. As soon as it's finished printing, you just took the whole jig, stuck it right in its place, took the other one out, started peeling those out while the other one was printing. Just popped them into a box. Loving it.
How soon do you have these? Like March is pretty much.
Right. So yeah. So
When will you have April's?
April's will be out Tuesday.
Is that something you just email to us?
I do. As soon as I have all your information, or you email me, every single month you'll know that, or any other specials that I've got going. I'll make sure you know it. I'll let you know what's on the refurb list. And I'll let you know inventory too. I always have everything in stock. So
I'll send that stuff to your print customers. That accurate lit, give you all into this stuff. I'd send this to your print customers every month.
I'm just thinking there's a whole
Dynamic graphics.
And these promos are typically on the Mutoh website also.
there's ones for customers, yeah, where they can see them.
I'll be going
But
to
I'm
my
showing you
customer
exactly.
shop saying, hey.
Are you selling to Minuteman across the country?
No, I only sell for dealers.
I mean, do Minuteman's use the exchange through the dealers?
Sure,
Okay.
yep. Minuteman, all the franchises do. Franchises eat this stuff up.
I'm just wondering, there's a whole
Fast
different list of like printers that are just doing this stuff, not,
Have you been in Fast Signs?
right, yeah,
We saw
I know
it.
that when Darion was here,
they have this equipment, yeah, I mean, they do.
And they
frac
try to
science.
get it off. I mean, Fast
They
Signs is
have national, yeah, they probably have some kind of agreement.
you want local people. Some of the Fast
Well,
Signs.
Fast Signs is every location will buy a unit
The
like
same
that.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that they were
Franchise
looking
back.
at,
Oh, yeah.
at this equipment at a show just before Darion came in to help set up the UPS store. And I've got a picture of his business card of the guy that he spoke to with down here at this fast sign shop. But he spent some time there at the Mutoh booth.
Now, are you somewhere close to West Virginia? You're not in Arizona, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not.
So we needed you to come.
Yeah, sure. I love being with customers because I come from that industry. I've been a sign guy a long time, so they can tell me what they're into. I can dial them in exactly and help you with the lingo and what they're looking for. So the 461. 461 bed size is 20 and a half by 14.9.
Yeah.
Dealer cost is 15.7. List is 21. One print head, comes with per lift. With Braille, comes with Flexi Designer, has 6 slots. So it's CMYK, varnish and white. Uses UH21 inks, which is our rigid ink. So for our UV, we have 2 different inks. We have UH11 and 21. So anytime that you're doing like these type of units right here, they're all going to be the rigid ink. When you're using our hybrid printer, which I'll talk about in a minute, that uses, and you can use the UH11. So that will build height as well as be able to do roll to roll, which is kind of amazing. This one here is our basic unit. This is the manual wind up, wind down. So when you put different things in there, you can go up to almost 6 inches. So 5.9 inches is the thickest something can be. It does have a rotary option, so you can do tumblers and, tumbler like that. If I want to, print something, load or anything on that, we can do that one after another. It has an optional vacuum table. And this is a tabletop only unit, so it sits on top of something. Our next one is our most popular. More people sell this than anything else. These just sell like hotcakes. The 661, the list is 29,000. The bed size is 20 and a half by 24 and a half. Where is it? It comes CMYK white and varnish, has 6 slots. It uses the UH21 inks, which is right there on there. It has an automatic for height adjustments. When you put a product in there, it just raises right up to find it. That's why people like it. People also like it because it has a vacuum table. So as soon as you put your product down onto it, suck it right down in place, starts to print right away. It's very easy for doing multiples of jobs. So you're filling up the bed, doing a first set, goes right up to it, starts printing everything, opens up, and then the vacuum releases. You pick all the pieces, put all the new ones down, you make a jig, just like David said, you're good to go. This has bulk adapters, so you can do 800 milliliter. Let's see what else. Rotary option, same height. It has 6 modes for DPI, 1440, 720, 1080, and 2 others, and it comes with a stand. But usually somebody will be like, oh, I like the 461, and then they see the 661, they go, oh, it's all automatic, oh, I'd rather pay the difference. I want the automatic because I can just load so much faster than sitting with a knob on the 461 that you turn like this to lift the bed up and down. It just takes more time, that one's better. And then the next one you have is the 1462, which is just sheer speed. So that bed there is 27 by 55. It has 2 print heads. It comes all together. So when you get it, it just rolls out. It's got cabinets underneath, and it's just about speed. That's somebody's looking for high production.
It just rolls. It's 1,100 pounds.
It rolls.
You see us rolling it through about like that.
How'd you get the door in?
bridge.
Can you tip it on the side?
No.
No,
You gotta have
you got to
garage
have, if we even talk about this, there's a lot of logistics we gotta have
Yeah.
worked out before.
No
we
going
order.
through the window like
There's no, it's
electric.
not pieces either. It
Oh,
comes in
is
as
it?
one piece.
Oh.
Right,
Wow.
right.
Yep. Yeah, because if you put it on its side, you're gonna mess up the bed, and that's not a good thing. It's, that's hard to fix. But, you know, if you bring it through a double door like that and you have it here, it is just lightning fast, how fast this thing will just pump stuff out. It's $70,000, uses 800 milliliters, uses further white, just 500 milliliters of white. 5.9 does braille. On this unit here, it does not have the rotary, so somebody is looking for flat graphics on this. Comes with the Vertilift and the Flexi Designer. You can get an optional foot pedal for the vacuum. Comes standard with the vacuum, but you get foot pedals you can just up and down. Has an ionizer, which is just for static. If you're doing a lot of plastic, you know, throwing it back and forth.
There's no used ones available this month.
Not this month, but the show is next month.
You probably already got somebody.
Oh, no. We don't
Requested.
release it until we're done with it. And it goes through all its checking and everything like that, and then we'll end up on the list. And
That's
then
the way to
everybody
go, I
just
think. I
comes
think a lot of people just take advantage of the list, don't they?
in. Some do, some don't. Some,
Well, bring
because
it.
they're looking for the longer warranties and stuff like that. So it'd be like a 2-year or 3-year on certain pieces versus the 1 year. But it all comes down to, you know, what your customer can afford or what you're trying to do.
You guys, I just have a small announcement. Andy just texted me. Our water is off for the next couple of hours or so because they're doing something at Family Dollar, and I guess that controls our water. So we weren't given a heads up, so it's already started. So sorry.
So if you got a
Share that.
flush,
You got to flush. Make
Do it
sure
now.
you mean it.
Yeah.
We always got a blue cup here.
So any questions on that?
No?
The next is, we have what are called hybrids. We're the only ones that have hybrids. So everybody used to have hybrids and did away with them, but we have it still. So this is for somebody who wants to do coroplast on one moment, and the next moment they want to do roll to roll. So that's why they use a flexible ink. Because they can still do braille and everything on it. Or they're using it to do, like the most common thing in our industry is 18 by 24 coroplast, which is corrugated 6mm plastic, and they make yard signs with them. And they want to be able to do a whole 4x8 and then cut them up to do it cheaper instead of buying 18 by 24 blanks and doing one side and flipping it over to the other side. They want to do it like this. Print one side, flip the whole thing, print the whole other side, cut it up, stick the H-stakes in it, and you're done. Therefore, they can be as cheap as what it is.
MSRP is $50,000, but with a $20,500 instant rebate this month.
It's a big
Ooh,
rebate.
That's
that's
a
all.
huge rebate.
I guess to finance it and then get cash, or,
Yeah, so
that's a lot of
most
pressure.
dealers who sell these, I'm assuming they're leasing them, just the same type of leasing companies we're using to sell any of this equipment?
Yep. Use a leasing company for that. Yep, same thing.
So you buy this, pay something else off,
Is-
pay their vendor to release the supplies to them.
Well, we have some
You
products
can
that.
sell this and throw in a couple copiers.
There you go. That's perfect. And then the only other one I didn't put, I guess I did put it in your book, is this one here, our PJ. The PJ is just a, 49-inch by 100-inch bed. It does
45
braille. What? Yeah. 4x8 basically. It just does braille. It just does larger. It comes with 4 print heads. You can add another 2 print heads to it. It does up to 4-inch bed. But that's
This one
like-
weighs 2,800 pounds.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's it. That's a big boy. That requires different training.
Yeah. I doubt we're gonna sell it.
So I think that the most popular is the 1641 for the roll to roll and the 661 for the U-bit.
661.
Yeah, it is crazy. I'm gonna get.
When you say separate training just for this one,
Yes.
not for the other EVs.
No, when you go for UV training, you can do the 661 and the 1462 together in a 1-week class. Or you might say, something, we're just gonna focus on the 461 and the 661 for the UV. You can take that 3-day class on there. Oh, I did include it. There you go. So you can see the starter inks, you can see what those are and everything like that. Yeah, I did. Good name. And then after that, what I did is I put in the back, I put all the contact.
When he says starter inks, it's just because it doesn't come with the inks. That's actually the same price we would use to quote a customer for inks also. For replacements.
Yep. And then the last few pages, I have in here just all the contact. You know, if you need a shipping quote, anything like that, where it can go, who you can contact, stuff like that, who the trainer is, warranty information. If you want to make samples for a customer, exactly what I'm looking for. If you want a virtual demo, anything like that, I included the demo request form. And then I just put the support on the back. So the way that support works, I think you know this already, David, is that you guys, if your customer has a problem, you reach out, find out what the problem is, reach in or call into Mutoh Tech, tell them, hey, this is what's going on, and then they work with you on getting you the parts so you can go out and service. And that's it.
Pretty good book, thanks.
Yep, and I'll be sending you more things as I come up with, you know, different things that I'll send punched and everything to
As
you.
far as the virtual demo, we go through you, but they're actually doing it out of Arizona.
Correct?
Didn't think you had a whole showroom.
No. And samples can be anything. The customer can send the sample, you know, materials to Mutoh, and we can do a virtual with their product in their files all at the same time.
Do you guys advertise pricing online?
Do we have what?
So, do you advertise pricing online? So if I give a customer a quote, are they gonna be able to Google it and find it for $2,000 less than what I quoted it?
It's only gonna be whatever is posted right there.
And
We
so
don't
it's-
ever, we don't ever veer from that. And
Well, they do offer the promos online, right?
they do.
Well, we'll be offering the same promo.
Yeah, we'll be offering the same thing. And we ask our dealers to stay within their means, meaning like, if you're saying like, for you guys, I have you for Kentucky and West Virginia, so all leads, everything will come to you, they don't go to anybody else. I
What about this
don't add any
Fellers?
other dealers. What?
How about Fellers?
Fellers is a national, which I don't control them. They can sell anywhere, but they only sell one model. They sell the 1641, the Rapper's Choice. That's their only thing, and they just do it a different way of doing it. What they do is they sell the piece of equipment almost for nothing. And what they do is they make a package of ink and supplies for 3 years, and they have their customers sign off saying, you can get the equipment here, we'll give you the equipment, but you're locked in. That's how they make their money. They do it like that. They do it old school. way.
Xerox scan.
Yeah, it's an old school, yeah. But where their flaw is,
Yeah.
Okay, you're right
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
for sure.
their flaw is that they have no service.
Who'd you
They
say?
use a third party.
It's
Fellers?
This Fellers,
It's on this sticker here. This is where this machine was actually purchased from in the UPS store in Logan. And that's why Jason was in there trying to help them all the time, because they wouldn't service it for him.
Fellers wouldn't service it for us?
Gotcha.
Mm-mm.
What is that? What is that?
That's
That's
one
That's a
of these.
Yeah,
Mutoh,
what is it?
It's an older one.
1624X.
Yeah.
Which
Pretty
is
good.
not a new model, no.
They sold one to the UPS store in Logan, but that wasn't you.
I was down there and I may have seen that machine. And I remember they had two large formats like that, and that might have been one of them. I don't remember being that big. But
Do you know who Bell and Howell is?
Mhm.
They use Bell and Howell. So Bell and Howell for service is kind of like, some places they're okay, other places they're not very good. That's just my experience with them.
Depends on the tech you get.
Yeah, depends on the tech, right?
And they have high turnover rates, so their techs usually don't have much experience on anything.
So a lot of my dealers, look at Fellers, they understand how they sell, they counter that, and then they say, hey, when you buy from us, we have our own service people that come out. As long as you buy ink material from you, we'll give you express service, and it works really well.
Go on, man.
electrical tape hanging there, holding something on.
Well, that was something Jason did on there as he was trying to service it, probably lock a switch or something.
Well, that's a lot to take in.
It's a lot, I told you. Before I even started, I said, oh,
But
that's
I have
gonna
my handy dandy
That's a
folder I can
great,
always refer
great
to.
be.
book.
That's right.
So he mentioned something about an online portal. On that portal, are there videos, training,
There is.
product
There
literature,
is,
information?
yep, they call them battle cards in the world of
Like
Mutoh.
competitor, I mean, just littered with.
Everything, yep. I'm going up against a Bamaki JV3, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
the other, yep, or
So-
you can call me and I can
Yeah.
tell you everything you want to
I'll
know.
call you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll do it too.
I forget, it's been a while since I signed on, but I think if you go to the Mutoh link and up in the upper right-hand corner, I think it says like dealer portal. And then when you go to it, if you don't have a login, I think there's a thing where you can register, where you just put in your name and
Yep, and
email,
then
once they
marketing
approve it.
will, marketing, Michael will approve it and then you'll be good to go and you can get right in. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, sir. Let's go find some opportunities. The other UPS stores.
I was gonna say, it looks like you had one, but someone sold it for you.
Yeah.
So what UPS store do we sell the Mutoh to?
The Logan.
Logan.
Oh,
I think Brett sold it because he was working through Phil, which bought the UPS store in Logan.
gotcha.
Yeah, my original owners left, sold, I guess, to Phil. I guess Brett goes with Phil all the time. With all his, how many stores does he have? 4? 3?
3,
I think he's got this one down here.
Spring Hill, Logan.
and Austin.
Beckley? I thought I had one in Beckley. Or,
That's a different owner.
so you just got the 3 now.
I think so.
Oh, thank you.
Matter of fact, last I heard, Phil's actually is interested in us selling this one as opposed to using this and can also do
Does
this.
Chapman dabble in this stuff, Sean? Johnson doesn't either.
Where this one's set for so long, not being used, where it was down and they ordered a printhead for it, but it needs more than a printhead, and I think we've got a,
I almost, if I were like opening a business, I'd almost want to do something. I would hate to get into paper right now, except unless there's money in it. But then I would just not offer anything with low profit margins. Stuff with big profit margins, and then, you know, I don't know. It just seems like a tough market print.
So Jeff, with most of your dealers, are they selling the media to the shop screen users, or are they just referring them to?
No, they all sell it. 100%, they all sell it because what they're doing is when they sell a printer, they have a whole package. They're like, okay, this is your calendar, a couple rolls. Here's a couple rolls of the cast, or a roll of the cast if you're going to go into vehicle. They sell the materials, they sell the ink, they sell extra inks and things like that. Yeah. So the company that I have a close friend with is called DAF Products. They sell cast as well as, they sell wrap material cast as well as calendar products. So it's a good one.
So can we get that substrate through Mutoh? Is that how it works? Or is there another?
You deal with another vendor for that, yep.
Yeah, which has been kind of the issue so far. I mean, even with a couple that you sent me, when I go and look at it, there's so much to choose from. And I have no idea
Right. So that's why I'm
how to
using,
even the guy.
right, that's why I'm using a friend this time. Because I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, yeah. Because I explained to him last night when I got here that I'm like, they are brand new, a green. I go, I'm gonna talk about the printers, all that. I go, I need you to show them the way when it comes to this. And I go, I want a good line. I don't want like, there's different grades to the lines. You have 3M, you have Avery, Oracle DAF, then you go to Universal, MacTac, and below like that. So you want a product that people buy a lot of, that are happy with the quality of it, that offer the full line so you go one place and be able to get your cast material that people like using, as well as all your calendar colors and all of that, to everything for your printer. That way you can provide your customer a one-shop, kind of place. You want to say, well, you got this, you got here, there, that, yeah. Because there's good money in supply.
Who's the UPS building getting their materials from?
I don't know.
If I had to guess.
And I know the one, I don't know how they printed it on this, which I'm assuming they did because they already had the roll there, but it was a glossy material, and when we put in the 1641, everything we printed on that paper would not dry.
So that means it didn't have a coating on it in order to trap the ink.
No, it was almost like it was a coating on to resist it.
So, okay, so that means it has a
I mean,
laminate
because,
on it.
yeah, we went to lunch, came back, and you could still just wipe it.
That means that there was a laminate or something on it.
It was a glossy
Yeah,
paper, but it definitely wasn't meant for that type of,
But they were printing, using that substrate around.
I would assume they did.
so all the.
They have like an old rolling down there too, so they're probably just printing on it.
So all the material that goes in there is gonna have a coating to it, a webbing, kind of like on the product. Or it can also just use raw product, like I could take raw vinyl like this, and I can put it in there. If it was white, it would print on it. It would hold it just like that. If they put a laminate on top of it, or it's just a laminate and you try to print it, it's gonna slide off, 'cause it's not meant for that. Yeah, I would definitely sell products with it, because you'd sell right out of the gate, and then you can say, hey, you buy, X amount of, window perf, do you guys know what window perf is? 70/30 window perf?
Stuff you see in like tutors, where they
Yeah, like if you wanna put graphics on these
Oh, you
windows
can see through
here,
it?
from the outside, you just see the graphic. From in here, you can see right outside. Things like,
You can see the bumps.
put them on cars, everything like that.
Buses.
All of that goes through that. So everything that you would put through this machine, that's us. They're approved in place. They're not taking on new dealers, but they are for you. Yep.
So you need the substrate, you need to print on. What other type of consumables? Obviously the ink, or the print head.
Banner.
Now that we get through Mutoh. Print heads, ink.
Correct.
This,
Ink.
this
And when it
waste
comes
tank,
to, yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say, this waste tank here can actually be reused, and basically what happens when this fills up, is you would take it, pour it into a bucket that may have like kitty litter or something.
Yeah,
That
cat litter so it clumps. Yep.
Just pour it down the sink.
Yeah. They do that at every trade show, and they have all these signs up that says, do not pour in the toilets. Everybody pours in the toilets. It's like all multicolored, and you can't get it off. It is on there.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so all your, so the best place to start is selling vinyls, perf, banner material, everything for the inkjets. Then when you want to go a little bit farther, then you start stepping into A-frames and some of that core plastic. Like if I was going to carry a sheet product of anything, it'd be 6 mil white core plastic. Number one selling product in our industry, without a doubt.